Story 1. Hunger in the Dark. Hey guys, it's Jake. I've been wrestling with whether to even tell this story. It's been months, and I still can't shake it. I don't sleep much anymore. Every creak in my apartment sends my heart racing. I need to get this out. Not for views or clout, but because it's eating me alive. This isn't some spooky tale I cooked up. This is what happened to me, and it's as real as it gets. I'm going to walk you through every detail so you feel what I felt. Buckle up because this is going to mess with you. Last October, I decided to go camping in a remote boreal forest in northern Ontario. I was burned out from my job, endless Zoom calls, deadlines, the works. I just needed to disappear for a week, be alone with my thoughts. I'd camped in backcountry before, so I wasn't worried. The spot I picked was way off the grid. No trails, no cell signal, just dense pines and silence. It took me 2 days of hiking to get there, hauling my gear. A lightweight tent, a sleeping bag, a small stove, and a bear bag with enough food for 7 days. Dehydrated meals, protein bars, a couple of cans of beans, and some instant coffee. I was stoked. It felt like freedom. Day 1 was perfect. I set up camp in a small clearing near a stream, with tall pines all around, their needles carpeting the ground. I strung my food bag high between 2 trees, about 50 yards from my tent, like you're supposed to. I built a small fire, cooked some noodles, and watched the stars come out. No light pollution, just this endless sky. I slept like a rock that night, the kind of deep sleep you only get in the wilderness. But the second morning, everything changed. I woke up to silence. No birds, no wind, just this heavy stillness. I went to check my food bag, and my stomach dropped. It was gone. Not just down, it was destroyed. I found it 200 yards away, shredded to ribbons. The rope was snapped clean, not chewed. My food was everywhere. Packets torn open, cans punctured like someone took a claw hammer to them, protein bars ripped apart and scattered across the dirt. I thought bear at first, but this wasn't a bear. Bears eat what they can and leave a mess in one spot. This was malicious. The ground was torn up with claw marks, but they weren't right. Too long, too narrow, almost like fingers, but not quite. I felt sick. I was 5 days from the nearest road, and most of my food was gone. I spent hours salvaging what I could. I found maybe 3 protein bars, a dented can of beans, and half a bag of coffee grounds. I told myself I'd ration, maybe fish the stream for trout. But I was spooked. The forest didn't feel right anymore. The silence was oppressive, like the air itself was holding its breath. I double-checked my camp, made sure my knife was sharp, and tried to shake it off. I wasn't going to let one bad morning ruin my trip. That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m., I heard it. A low, guttural growl, deep and raw, like it came from a throat that wasn't fully animal. It wasn't a bear or a wolf. I'd heard those before. This was wrong, almost human, but twisted, like someone trying to mimic a voice and failing. It came from the trees, circling my camp, sometimes closer, sometimes farther. I sat by the fire, gripping my knife, my pulse hammering in my ears. I kept telling myself it was just an animal, but my gut screamed otherwise. The growls went on for hours, fading out just before dawn. I didn't close my eyes once. Morning 3, I found more damage. My backup water filter, which I'd left by the stream, was smashed to pieces. The plastic cracked like someone stomped it. The pieces were scattered, some half buried in the dirt. I hadn't hung it up, so maybe that was on me. But the way it was broken felt personal, like someone wanted me to know they'd been there. I was down to one water bottle, a few sips of coffee, and maybe 2 days of food if I starved myself. My head was foggy, my stomach already cramping. I rebuilt my fire, boiled some stream water, and tried to think. Was it a person? A prank? But who'd hike 5 days into nowhere just to mess with me? It didn't add up. That night, the growls came back, louder, closer. They weren't just sounds anymore. They vibrated in my chest, like the thing was right outside my tent. I heard twigs snapping, slow and deliberate, circling me. I stayed in my tent, knife in one hand, flashlight in the other, whispering to myself to stay calm. I didn't dare look outside. Around 4 a.m., it stopped. I waited until sunrise to move, my whole body aching from tension. By day 4, I was falling apart. Hunger was clawing at me, and I hadn't slept in 2 days. I was dizzy, my hands shaking so bad I could barely hold my water bottle. I knew I had to do something. I had a trail camera in my pack, one of those motion-activated ones. I set it up facing my new food bag, hung even higher with a stronger rope, and angled it to catch the clearing. If something was out there, I'd see it. I ate half a protein bar, just enough to keep me moving, and spent the day fortifying my camp. Piling rocks around my tent like that had helped. I felt like I was losing it, talking to myself, jumping at every rustle. That night was the worst. The growls started early, just after dark. They were so close, I could hear breathing, slow, raspy, like it was savoring the air. I stayed in my tent, clutching my knife, praying the camera would catch something. Around 3 a.m., I heard the rope snap. The food bag hit the ground with a thud. Then, dragging sounds, slow and heavy, moving into the woods. I didn't move. I couldn't. I just sat there, shaking, until the sun came up. Morning 5, I checked the camera. My hands were trembling as I plugged it into my battery pack and played the footage. At 2:47 a.m., there it was. A figure. Tall, hunched, moving on 2 legs, but not human. It was blurry like it didn't want to be seen, dragging my food bag with one arm. Its movements were wrong, jerky, like its joints bent backward. Then it stopped. It turned and looked right at the camera. Its eyes, Jesus, its eyes. They glowed reflective, like a predator's, but unblinking, locked on the lens. It didn't move for 10 seconds, just stared, like it knew I'd watch this later. I dropped the camera and puked, my whole body shaking. That thing wasn't just taking my food. It was toying with me, keeping me weak, starving me on purpose. I realized then it didn't just want my supplies. It wanted me. Broken, helpless. I grabbed what I had left, my knife, the camera, half a water bottle. I left the tent, the stove, everything. I just started hiking. 5 days to the road, and I didn't stop. The whole time, I felt it. Eyes on my back, growls in the distance, always just out of sight. I didn't eat, didn't sleep. I don't know how I made it. But I stumbled onto a logging road, half dead, babbling to a ranger who found me. I'm home now, but I'm not okay. I keep the footage on a hard drive, locked in a drawer. I've watched it once, and that was enough. Those eyes are burned into my brain. I don't know what it was. A creature? A demon? Something older than the forest itself. But it wasn't random. It chose me. I'm telling you this because you need to know. If you go out there, deep in the woods, you're not alone. Something's watching, and it's not just hungry. It's playing a game, and you're the prey. So, that's my story. I don't care if you believe me. I just had to say it. Stay safe, guys. And whatever you do, don't go out there alone. Story 2. The Forgotten Mine. Hey guys, it's Alex. I've been sitting on this for way too long, and I can't keep it in anymore. I haven't been right since it happened. Sleep's a joke now. Every little noise makes me jump, and I keep my lights on like a scared kid. I need to tell you what went down, not for clout or anything, but because it's eating me up. This isn't some made-up story. This is my life, and I'm still freaked out just talking about it. I'm going to lay it all out, every detail, so you feel what I felt. Grab something to hold on to, because this is going to hit hard. Last September, I went camping in this remote stretch of forest in northern Maine. I'd been grinding at my desk job, and I was losing it. Needed to get out, breathe some fresh air, be alone. I found this old logging trail online, way off the beaten path. No campgrounds, no tourists, just wilderness. I'd done solo trips before, so I wasn't worried. Packed my usual gear: tent, sleeping bag, a little propane stove, and enough food for 5 days. Dehydrated meals, some granola bars, a can of soup, instant coffee. The plan was to hike the trail, camp a few nights, and clear my head. Sounded perfect. The first day was great. The trail was overgrown, barely a path anymore, with pines so thick they blocked out the sun. I hiked about 8 miles, found a clearing near a creek, and set up camp. Tent went up easy. Fire was crackling, and I hung my food bag high in a tree, maybe 40 yards out, to keep it safe from bears. That night, I sipped some coffee, listened to the crickets, and slept like a baby under a sky full of stars. Day 2, I decided to explore. The trail wound deeper into the forest, and about 3 miles from camp, I stumbled across something weird. An old mine entrance, carved into a rocky hillside. It was partially collapsed, boards splintered across the opening, but there was enough space to slip through. I'm a curious guy, probably too curious, and I couldn't resist. I grabbed my flashlight and crawled inside. The air was damp, heavy with this musty, metallic smell. The tunnel was narrow, the walls rough and slick. I didn't go far, maybe 20 feet, when I saw something that stopped me cold. Fresh boot prints in the dirt. Not old, not weathered. Crisp, like someone had been there that day. I froze, my flashlight shaking in my hand. Then I saw more. A pile of ash and charred wood, still warm, like a campfire someone left an hour ago. And on the wall, scratched in jagged letters, was graffiti. Don't sleep. My heart was pounding. Who'd been here? Why the warning? I backed out fast, my mind racing. Maybe it was squatters or some creepy prank. But out here, miles from anything, it didn't sit right. I got back to camp, tried to laugh it off. But I was rattled. The forest felt different now, like it was watching me. That night, I couldn't settle. Around midnight, I heard it, a rhythmic tapping, like metal on stone, coming from the direction of the mine. Tap, tap, tap. Pause. Tap, tap, tap. It wasn't random. It had a pattern, deliberate, like someone was signaling. I sat up in my tent, gripping my knife, telling myself it was just the wind or an animal. But it kept going, steady, for hours. I didn't sleep. I just sat there, listening, my pulse hammering. By dawn, it stopped, and I was a mess, running on adrenaline and coffee. Morning 3, I checked my camp. Everything was fine. Food bag untouched, tent secure. But I couldn't shake the tapping. I hiked back to the mine, stupid as that sounds, to see if I'd missed something. The boot prints were still there, but now there were more, crisscrossing the tunnel floor. The campfire was cold, but fresh cigarette butts were scattered nearby. And that graffiti, "Don't sleep," looked darker, like someone had traced over it. I got out of there fast, my skin crawling. Back at camp, I tried to focus. Eat, hydrate, stay sharp. But my hands were shaking and my stomach was in knots. I ate half a granola bar, but it tasted like ash. That night, the tapping came back, closer. It wasn't at the mine anymore. It was in the trees, maybe 100 yards out. Tap, 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 pause. Tap, tap, tap. I built up my fire, hoping the light would keep whatever it was away. But then I heard something else. A low, raspy wheeze, like air leaking from a punctured lung. It was moving, circling my camp. I grabbed my flashlight and scanned the trees. For a split second, I saw it. A pale, eyeless figure. Humanoid, but wrong, darting behind a pine. No face, just smooth skin where eyes should have been. I yelled, swung the light, but it was gone. My heart was in my throat. I didn't sleep again, just sat by the fire, knife in hand, jumping at every snap of a twig. Day 4, I was falling apart. No sleep, barely eating, maybe a sip of soup and a few coffee grounds. My head was pounding, my vision blurry. The tapping was relentless now, starting at dusk and closing in like it was right outside my camp. I kept seeing those figures, fleeting glimpses in the trees, pale, eyeless, moving too fast to track. I tried to pack up and leave, but I was too weak, too scared to move in the dark. I told myself I'd hike out at first light, just had to make it through one more night. That night, the tapping was so close, I could feel it in my chest. Tap, 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 right at the edge of the clearing. The wheezing was louder, joined by a faint, guttural hum, like a chant. I scanned with my flashlight, and there they were, 3 of them, standing just beyond the firelight. Eyeless, their heads tilted like they were listening. One raised a hand, holding a rusted pickaxe, and tapped it on a rock. Tap, tap, tap. I screamed, threw a burning log at them, and they melted into the trees. I stayed up, sobbing, praying for dawn. Morning 5, I didn't wait. I grabbed my knife, my water bottle, and ran. The trail was a blur, my legs burning, my lungs screaming. The tapping followed me, faint but there, echoing through the trees. I felt them watching, their eyeless faces tracking me. I don't know how I made it to the road, 4 days of hiking and one desperate push. A trucker picked me up, said I looked like death. I didn't tell him why. I couldn't. I'm home now, but I'm not okay. I keep hearing that tapping in my dreams. I see those eyeless things when I close my eyes. I don't know what they were. Miners who never left. Something older, something worse. But they didn't want me dead. They wanted me awake, terrified, broken. I'm telling you this because you need to know. If you find an old mine out there, don't go in. And if you hear tapping, run. Don't sleep. Don't wait. Just go. That's my story. I don't expect you to believe me, but I had to say it. Stay safe, guys, and stay the hell away from those woods.
Hey guys, it's Sarah. I've been avoiding this for months, but I can't keep it bottled up anymore. I haven't been the same since it happened. I don't sleep without a light on, and every little sound makes me jump. I need to tell you what went down, not for likes or anything, but because it's tearing me apart. This isn't some ghost story I made up. This is real, and I'm still shaking just thinking about it. I'm going to lay out every detail so you feel what I felt. Get comfy, because this is going to be a rough one. Last August, I went camping in this super remote part of the Cascades in Washington. I was fried from my job, constant emails, no downtime, and I just needed to unplug. I picked a spot way out there. No trails, no cell service, just mountains and trees. I'd done solo camping before, so I was prepared. Lightweight tent, sleeping bag, a little stove, and enough food for 6 days. Oatmeal packets, protein bars, some canned chili, and a bag of instant coffee. I also brought a portable radio, one of those crank-powered ones, to catch weather updates or emergency broadcasts. It felt like a smart move, you know? Stay connected, just in case. I hiked in over 2 days, set up camp in a clearing near a rocky ridge, and felt like I'd found paradise. The air was crisp, the stars were insane, and I was finally alone. Day 1 was perfect. I pitched my tent, hung my food bag high in a tree about 50 yards out to keep it safe from animals, and built a small fire. I fiddled with the radio, but it was mostly static, just faint weather reports from some far-off station. I didn't mind. I ate some oatmeal, sipped coffee, and slept hard. The kind of sleep you only get when you're miles from everything. The second night, things got weird. I was in my tent, winding down around 11 p.m., messing with the radio to see if I could pick up anything. Out of nowhere, the static cleared, and I heard a voice. It was faint, flat, emotionless, like a text-to-speech program. At first I thought it was a prank or some automated broadcast, but then it said my name, Sarah Marie Ellison. My blood ran cold. I froze, staring at the radio. It kept going, reciting my exact coordinates, latitude, longitude, down to the decimal. Then it described my day. Sarah hiked 4.2 miles, set up a blue tent, boiled water at 6:47 p.m. I ripped the batteries out, but the voice kept going. I turned it off, and it stopped. My hands were shaking. I told myself it was a fluke, maybe some weird signal bouncing off the mountains. But deep down, I knew it wasn't right. Morning 3, I was a wreck. I hadn't slept much, kept hearing that voice in my head. I checked my camp. Food bag was fine, tent secure, and tried to focus. I hiked a bit, hoping to shake it off, but the forest felt wrong, too quiet, like the birds had bailed. I ate half a protein bar, but my stomach was in knots. That night, I didn't touch the radio at first. I sat by my fire, knife in hand, trying to stay calm. But curiosity got me. Around midnight, I turned it on. The static parted, and the voice was back, clearer now. It listed my name, coordinates, and then stuff no one could know. Sarah wore a red jacket, drank coffee at 7:12 a.m., thought about her ex at 3:04 p.m. My heart was pounding. I hadn't told anyone I was out here. No one knew my plans. I shut it off, but the voice echoed in my head. I didn't sleep, just sat there, listening to every rustle in the trees. Day 4, I was unraveling. No sleep, barely eating, just sips of chili and coffee to keep me going. My head was foggy, my hands trembling. I checked the radio's batteries, thinking maybe they were messed up. But they were fine. I even tried a different frequency, but the voice found me, like it was locked onto me. That night, it was crystal clear, no static at all. It recited my day again, then got personal. Sarah dreamed of drowning last night, woke at 4:17 a.m., cried for 6 minutes. I dropped the radio, my breath hitching. I hadn't told a soul about that dream. I smashed the radio with a rock, but the voice kept going, faint, like it was coming from the air itself. I buried it under my sleeping bag and sat up all night, knife clutched to my chest, jumping at shadows. Day 5. I was a ghost of myself. Hunger was clawing at me, and my eyes burned from no sleep. The forest was dead silent, no wind, no animals. I tried to pack up, but I was too weak, too scared. That night, I didn't touch the radio. It was still smashed. But around 1 a.m., I heard it anyway, faint but unmistakable, coming from my buried pack. The voice listed my name, coordinates, my every move. Then it said, Look behind you. My heart stopped. I spun around, flashlight shaking in my hand. Nothing. Just trees and darkness. But then I saw it. My tent zipper was open. I'd zipped it shut, double-checked it. Now it was wide open, the flap swaying slightly. I screamed, grabbed my knife, and swung the light around. No one was there, but I felt it. Eyes on me, heavy, like a weight. I didn't wait for morning. I grabbed my knife, my water bottle, and what was left of my food, 2 protein bars, and bolted. The voice followed, faint, whispering my name from the trees. I ran through the dark, tripping over roots, scraping my arms on branches. The coordinates kept coming, tracking me as I moved. I felt it behind me, always just out of sight, that same heavy presence. I don't know how I made it to the trailhead, 3 days of hiking in one desperate sprint. A ranger found me, half-starved, babbling about a voice. I didn't tell him everything. I couldn't. I'm home now, but I'm not okay. I threw out the radio pieces, but I still hear that voice in my dreams, flat and cold, saying my name. I see that open zipper when I close my eyes. I don't know what it was. A signal, a spirit, something else. But it knew me, inside and out, and it wanted me to know it was there. I'm telling you this because you need to know. If you're out in the wild and hear a voice that shouldn't be, don't listen. Smash your radio, burn it, whatever. Just run. That's my story. I don't care if you think I'm nuts. I had to get it out. Stay safe, guys, and leave the damn radio at home.